Right, in this video we're going to go through the fractions and percentages worksheet. So this focuses on how to convert fractions into percentages and then percentages into fractions. There are 6 questions. I'll go through each one. Pause at any stage you feel you need to, or even pause after each question so you can do the other parts of the question. So try to use this video to assist you doing the sheet, not watching the video and then doing the sheet. Okay, so question 1, change these test results to equivalent scores out of 100 and state their percentage. So our first one is 7 out of 10. Oops. I'm just going to write 7 over 10. And we want that to be a score out of 100 because percentages are always out of 100. Okay, so that's the purpose of percentages. So we can make comparisons. So if we always have things out of the same number, which is 100, then we can make easier comparisons. Say, for example, if we're comparing the population of Australia to the population of India, which is much larger, we would focus on percentages because otherwise we would get an answer which wouldn't really tell us much because the populations are so different. So if we take everything back to 100 out of 100, it's much easier to compare, and that's the purpose of percentages. Okay, so let's get started. You don't need a full lesson on what percentages actually mean. Okay, so to get from 10 to 100, this is basically doing equivalent fractions. So what we do is we multiply that by 10. And remember, whatever we do to the denominator, we also do to the numerator. So I've multiplied the denominator by 10, so now I multiply the numerator by 10. And whatever this value is up here is what our percentage is. So 7 out of 10 gives you 70%. All right, let's move to let's move to do E. So this is different. Okay, so this time we have more than 100 questions or marks, whereas before from A to D we have less than 100 marks. So what happens if we have to go down? Well, hopefully you remember from doing equivalent fractions is we divide. So what do we divide 200 by to get to 100? We divide by 2, which means we also do the same to the numerator, and you get 40%. So have a go at doing the rest of the questions. You can pause it, and also if you scroll down you'll see that there's solutions also, so if you're stuck on any you can have a look at the solutions to help you. Alright, moving on to question 2. There are some fractions that you should know off by heart. Okay, so basically 1 over 1 is 100%. Then if we had half of 100%, or half of 100 is 50, so that's 50%. 1/3 is 1/3 of 100, which is 33.3 recurring percent. 1/4 is 1/4 of 100, which is 25%. And then 1/5. So these ones you should soon enough know off by heart. So for these ones here, let's look at A, which is 1/4. Oops. 1/4 is 25%. If we have 2/4, we just multiply that by 25. By 2. So 2 times 25 is 50%. You'll also notice that 2/4 is a half. And if we go over here, we know a half is 50%. 3/4, we multiply 25 by 3. So we have 75%. And then lastly, 4 over 4, which is the same as 1, is 100%. Or you could have said, well, 4 times 25. All right, so I'll leave you to do B and C. Question 3. Express these percentages as fractions in their simplest form. So if we're just doing a percentage, remember, is always out of 100. Now, that should be your first step, and then you should ask yourself, well, can I simplify that? No, you can't simplify that because 11 doesn't go into 100, so we leave it as just 11 over 100. So A to D all can't be simplified, but E to H can be. So I'm just going to do E, which is 25. We do that over 100, and then we simplify it. So to simplify it, we find the highest common factor. So the highest common factor in 25 and 100 is actually 25. So let's divide the numerator and the denominator by 25. So 25 divided by 25 is 1, and 100 divided by 25 is a quarter. So 25% as a fraction is 1/4. So you should be able to then go on and do F, G, and H. Remember, look at the solutions if you need some help. Okay, question 4. Express these percentages as mixed numbers in their simplest form. So the first one, 120%. Okay, I like to split that up. If we have 100% and then whatever is left over, which is 20%. So I know 100% is the same as 1. Okay, so I don't have to deal with that. It's much easier to deal with just 20%. So I'm going to do the 20% over here. So remember, it's over 100. And then you can just simplify this fraction. So the highest common factor is 20. Whoops. So 20 divided by 20 is 1. 100 divided by 20 is 1/5. So you have here 1 plus 1/5. And we never really write the plus in there. So we're left with 1 and 1/5. All right, let's do maybe 840, the very last one. Okay, so that's 800% plus 40%. So this 800 is equal to 8. Okay, so if we were to, let's say, just divide it by 100, that's where the 8 comes from. Okay, and then we can divide this one also by 100. So 40 divided by 100, if you were to take the common factor of 20, we would get 2 over 5. So your final answer is 8 and 2/5. All right, let's move on to question 5. So this time we're converting these fractions to percentages using equivalent fractions. Oh, excuse me. All right. These first 4 are already out of 100. So if something is already out of 100, it's easy to see what their percentage would be. So the first one is just 8%. The next one is 15%. What do you think the next one's going to be? 97%. That's right. And then 50%. So those are the easy ones. Let's go down and do some harder ones. So we'll do E first of all, which is 7 over 20. And just like we did before, we'll do it over 100. So what do we need to multiply 20 by to get to 100? We multiply it by 5. And whatever we do to the denominator, we do to the numerator. So 7 times 5 is 35. Now we have it out of 100. So we've got 35%. You are going to have ones where you have an improper fraction. Excuse me. So you can do this over 100 if you like. Okay, so we can do that. What do we multiply that by? We multiply it by 20, and then we multiply this by 20. So 20 times 20 is 400, and then 400 divided by 100 is 4. That's 4%. Oh, sorry. What am I doing? I'm getting distracted. We're doing this one up here, so it's 400%. If we were, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm just thinking if we could simplify 20 over 5, which you know is 4. So if we wrote 4 as a fraction, we're multiplying that by 100. So we also multiply that by 100 and we get 400. So you can do it that way as well. You can simplify the fraction before you do the multiplication. And I probably shouldn't have an equals. Oh no, that's fine. All right, let's move on. All right, last question. Convert these fractions to percentages by multiplying by 100%. So 1 over 8, and this time we're multiplying by 100. So remember, if we are writing a number as a fraction, it's just over 1. And then you should know how to multiply fractions. So this becomes on your numerator 1 times 100 and then 8 times 1 on your denominator. So we have 100 divided by 8. Now, if you're a bit unsure how to do that, you can do it using long division. Well, not really long division, but division like this that you did in primary school. So how many times does 8 go into 1? So no, it doesn't. 8 goes into 10 once. Remainder 2, then it goes into 20 twice, and we have remainder 4. So as the answer is, it's 12 and 4 over 8, and that's a set. 4 over 8 is a half, so you can write it as 12.5 or 12 and a half if you want to leave it as a fraction. So that is 12.5%. The other way you can do it, and I might just clear this so I've got some space. So we had 100 over 8, and sometimes you can just keep halving. Okay, so basically I'm finding a common factor, not the highest common factor. So because they're both even, I know I can just keep halving them. These are both even as well, so I can halve them. And then 25 divided by 2 is 12.5%. So either way works for you. But let's have a look at a mixed number. So let's do F, which is 4 and 1/5. Okay, I'm going to separate that because I already know the 4 is equal to 400%. So I'm going to deal with just the 1/5. So I'll multiply that by 100 over 1. So then I've got 100 over 5, and that is 20%. So I add 420, and my final answer is 420%. All right, I'm going to stop there because I do have a cough, and I feel like I might be more of a distraction if I cough again. So have a go at the ones that I didn't do. The answers are there. These can be quite tricky, so please make sure you get help if you do need some assistance.